Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and today let's talk Path of Exile to 0.3 League Start. Today's video is going to be about my League Starter and how I went through the campaign and the things that I did, and just kind of give you guys a rundown of what's going on. First and foremost, I ended up on Essence Drain and Contagion, and it was just literally the perfect League Starter for me for the campaign. The latest update for Path of Exile 2 is all about the Abyss, and if you've ever played Path of Exile 1, Abyss is an insanely fun mapping mechanic that spawns a whole lot of monsters. So I spent some time looking around for a build that could handle a large swarm of monsters and pretty much just blow up the entire screen. I reached out to you guys, and you guys made suggestions for EDC, and I started doing my research. Now, when I say EDC throughout this video, it refers to Essence Drain ED and C as Contagion, the nature of the build. Throughout my research and talking to you guys, I was recommended this video that I'm going to be putting on the screen now about 462 times. This video is a level 1 to tier 15 Chaos Demon form video that works around and talks about the Witch as leveling as a demon form or demon mommy and going through the campaign. This video is literally 7 hours long, and I watched it on stream with the community, and the gentleman who put this together, whose name I am going to completely and utterly butcher, did a fantastic job showcasing his run through the campaign, and I'm gonna have this video down below for you guys. When I watched his video, I took notes on the character, I took notes on the pathing, and just kind of like pretty much studied how I was going to League Start, and it really paid off well. My League Start experience was completely and utterly smooth, and like I said, I just had no problems at all. Now, if you've never seen Essence Drain Contagion, let's jump into a quick map and let's showcase what is going on. I have a tier 3 map here. We'll actually make it rare. I'm out of Exalted Orbs, so I can't exalt it for you. But, you know, it's got some mods on it. It's got some stuff going on, and we'll just, you know, we'll deal with it and we'll run it. Let's go to our map device. Let's see. Is there a good, juicy map? I don't want to do Delirium. It's going to lag while recording, so I don't want to do that. I guess we can go do this. It has a map boss in it. It's fine. We'll hop into the map, and essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cast Essence Drain on the mobs. It's going to start dying, and we're going to press Contagion, and it's going to spread all over the place, and it's going to blow things up. So we want to find packs of mobs or make mobs into packs, and then we're going to curse everything to slow them down. So we Essence Drain, we Contagion, and then Essence Drain Contagion just blows up the entire screen. We slow everything, we Essence Drain, we Contagion, and then it just completely spreads like a virus, and it just, I'm trying to get it to spread so you guys can see. Essence Drain Contagion, and then it spreads and it kills. Essence Drain Contagion, and then it spreads and it kills. And then we just kind of keep doing the same thing. We come here, we Essence Drain, we Contagion, it kills, it spreads, it kills again, it spreads, and then I could be casting more, but I want to make sure that you guys can see what is going on. So we slow down everything, we Essence Drain, we Contagion, and then we let the dot in itself do what it does and proliferate. You can actually see it on the rare here, just doing its thing. The rare dies, it spreads, it goes all around, it spreads again. And this is essentially the nature of the build. You dot a mob, you put Contagion on it, and Contagion spreads around and kills everything. The nature of the build is literally that. Contagion does exactly what it sounds like it does. It puts a contagion or a virus on the enemy. That virus then proceeds to jump all around and poison or chaos dot everything on the screen until it's all dead. Now, these dots do have a duration. You'll fix the duration, you'll scale the duration, and you'll get more gear. And it just worked, and ended up working out really, really, really well for the campaign. You get to even do and expand this build a little bit further with skills like Dark Effigy and the curses that you see that I'm currently doing that just slow all the mobs down to an absolute snail's pace. Now we'll finish this video, or we'll finish this map really quick, and then we'll talk about the build and what is going on. And you see that rare just didn't even move. That rare was just sitting right there, nice and cozy, and there was nothing that we even needed to begin or remotely worry about. Come here, we slow everything, we dot it, we go next. We come over here to the rare, we slow everything, we dot it, we drop our totems because it's a rare, we let our totems kill it, and just like that, we get to go next. It's fun. It's absolutely ridiculously fun to play. Like, I didn't know if I was gonna like it, and I have just been baffled every single step of the way. Even the abysses in all of these maps have just been utterly destroyed every step of the way. There's been no fear, like, From as soon as you were able to contagion and ran into an abyss and spread the contagion, it was just game over. Like, you see the abyss here, it just doesn't even move, and then it spreads and it spreads and it spreads, and you slow it all down, and then you poison everything, and then it all spreads and it spreads, and it just kills everything. And now these guys are all gonna come out of the ground, and we're gonna essence train contagion, and then we just stand still and let it do what it's doing. Now, the big takeaway with this build, and something that you should know, is this build is very good at mapping, but will be very mediocre at bossing. So if you're trying to take this build on a league starter into your tier 4 juicer bosses, you might be slightly disappointed. As you get more gear and as you progress further along, it starts to become a real powerhouse. I found some videos from Captain Lance from last league that showcased the power of it. I saw videos from tons of people playing it, and it just looks, it becomes this completely powerhouse of a tanky character that just kills everything on the screen without too much fear at all. So it can transition from this really nice league starter to this absolute monster of a build if you put your time into it. For me, this is going to be a league starter, and I probably will end up evolving the character and putting time into it and putting more currency into it and really seeing how far we can take it, because to be honest with you, I'm really enjoying it. Now, will it stay Lich the entire time? Maybe. Will it evolve into Blood Mage at some point? Maybe. Will it become hit-based at some point? Maybe. I'm not really too sure. All I know right now is the entire aspect of playing ED Contagion, dotting all the mobs, spreading the poison, and letting it do what it's doing is insanely strong where I'm at in the game right now, and pushing it doing this going forward is what I'm going to do, because there's no reason to change what is working. There is only reason to make it better. And this is what I was just talking about. Your ED Contagion build will be okay, and you know, it won't be the best bosser, but it will get there. As you get more gear and progress your character, you'll do more damage and more damage and more damage, and you see it's starting to work. And you know, it's a dot build, right? It's not a hit-based build. It's gonna take a minute, but for just getting into maps, not really having a whole lot of gear, it's pretty sweet. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. It's blowing up packs of mobs, killing bosses, and with everything being as slow as it is, there's just really no fear of dying unless you stand in a whole lot of stuff. But let's go over the character and what's going on. First and foremost, my resistances are almost capped. I need to buy runes, which, as you saw, I have 1 Exalted Orb, so I can't afford the runes to put into my gloves and focus to cap out my cold resistance. But you will be, you know, you're going to be res capped. All of your gear at the start of the campaign through the campaign is just going to be life, energy shield, and resistances. So you're just looking for any gear that has life, resistance, energy shield. Very simple gearing for the campaign. Now that we're out of the campaign and we're going to be progressing deeper into maps, it starts to change a little bit, but you're watching this video, so you're not there yet. So we're going to keep this as a campaign-centric focus, an early tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 map focus to get you rolling. After that, there'll be another update video with where to go from here and how the build will evolve. So we have life, we have energy shield, we have mana, we have regen, we have spirit, we have a whole lot of intelligence. We'll have capped resistances when we get a little bit of currency, and that's pretty much the character. When the league started, I bought a life spring wand. I bought this like 45 minutes into the league for 4 Exalted Orbs. While you're league starting, kill all of your abysses. ED Contagion, as early as level 2, can put this build online and kill all of your abysses. You will drop a metric ton of currency. And I was able to pick this up for a +3 for 4 Exalted Orbs, very cheap. And then I corrupted it myself, hit 2 sockets, throw in some spell damage, and it was great, absolutely fantastic. The rest of the gear follows the same suit that I just mentioned. It is life, energy, shield, and resistance. Life, energy, shield, and resistance. Life, energy, shield, and resistance. Life resistances. Life resistances, cast speed if you're lucky. Life resistances. Now there's a couple pieces that aren't, and let's talk about that. First and foremost, plus to spell skill levels or plus to chaos levels is absolutely massive in terms of multiplier for damage. You want to get that anywhere that you can, and buying a life spring really early in your campaign experience or even in your early maps is an absolute powerhouse until you can get a nice rare wand with either spell damage, chaos damage, and plus the skills in some aspect. So this fills a nice void to get started. Your shield or your focus will do the exact same thing. Ideally, you get all spell skill gems and resistances and spell damage if possible, or energy shield. Once again, spell skill damage is absolutely massive. The shield that I started with in the campaign that I found very early was this one right here that had 60 spell damage, all spell skill gems, and this pretty much carried me all the way up until like I started right before I recorded this video and found this on trade and bought this. The only unique that we have is these windscreen boots, which you do not need in the campaign. This is post-campaign. In the campaign, I actually used these boots, which once again were life, energy shield, and resistances. Post-campaign, I picked up these boots. The reason why we pick up these boots is as follows. After the campaign, you're going to progress your character into a 2 curse setup using both blasphemy and self-casting temp chains, but this is post-campaign. The boots, what they do is when I cast my curse, you see it starts to activate and eventually it pops. And now the curse is active and anything on this curse ground will be cursed. Because the curse has such a long time to wind up to affect the cursed ground, these boots will skip the activation delay of the cursed ground, and you see the curse pops immediately. If I come over here and I cast it again, the curse pops immediately, and it happens immediately, and I'm able to have my curse. So that's why we're using these boots. If you don't want to do that boot tech, you do not need to. Let's go over the skill gems and what's going on. First and foremost, we have Chaos Bolt. You will get ideally a wand that is a withered wand. You want to have Chaos Bolt because Chaos Bolt allows you to wither your enemies early in the campaign, and it's pretty easy to set up. You just right click and it casts your bolts, and then you set all of your other skills to your other weapon slot, which is your life sprig, and it just seamlessly transitions from Chaos Bolting. Stacking Wither from the wand on the enemies is pretty much just double damage. So if you can do it, do it. If not, and it's too many buttons, I understand. We have Essence Drain, which is our big damage dealing spell. That's this right here. Essence Drain is what we're using to kill the mobs and start the chain. We have Essence Drain paired with Chain so that it bounces all around and hits multiple enemies. We have it with Acrimony so that mobs can't regenerate life and they have really low life regeneration. And we have Swift Affliction to deal it a whole lot of damage. When you start early in the campaign, you're not going to have access to a whole bunch of things. I started right away with Chain, and then I would swap out Chain with Swift Affliction as I got to bosses. So for clearing Chain for bosses, Swift Affliction, eventually you get 3 sockets, you put it all in, you don't need a gem swap. Contagion is the ability that you saw that we casted that went on all of the enemies. That is this right here. It hits an enemy. That's the one that when the enemy dies, it spreads all over the place and kills everything. This is your virus skill. You get Contagion as early as level 2. So as soon as you get off the beach and into town, you can pick up Contagion, and you get Essence Drain as early as level 6, right? I think right when you kill the Rust guy. Until you have Contagion, you can actually do, until you have Essence Drain, you can actually do Contagion and Frost Bomb, and that cleared the entire way for a really long time in the campaign. Contagion we have with Unleash. Unleash allows us to hit 2 mobs at the same time. So when we cast the spell and this comes down, if there was mob and mob, it would hit both mobs. We have Rapid Casting, which I need to upgrade when I get another gem to Rapid Casting 2. And then we have Chaotic Freeze, which you get later on in the campaign. And Chaotic Freeze says chaos damage contributes to freeze buildup. So not only are we a chaos stop build, but we are freezing the entire screen. And yes, it happens quite often where you will freeze the entire screen. Later on, you will get to Act 2, and midway through Act 2, you will unlock the ability to have Bone Storm. Bone Storm is what we're going to use to help us with single target. It is this charge up effect that you see, and as you charge it up, your Bone Storm will spread out, and it will fire these bones. If you charge it up and you fire it early, you see right there, we can condense our shots into a small minor area, and the splinters, what you want them to do is for every splinter that hits an enemy, you deal more damage. So you want to try to, you know, charge it up just enough and then fire it so that it's a condensed shot onto the enemy. We pair that for Brutality for more physical damage, Armor Break so that we can break all the armor of the enemy with our Fizz skill, and then we have Burgeon so that we can charge our damage. This skill is awesome. It gives us 20% more damage per second spent charging. So we go 1, 2, and then we fire. You can actually see it work. You see 57, 64. Okay, are you not gonna do it now because we're looking at you? There it goes. There, 57, 64, and then we charge up, and then it just gets more damage. And then we fire, and then we have more damage. And then we charge, and then we fire, and then we have more damage. Once you get into Act 3, you're going to unlock Dark Effigy, and Dark Effigy is going to be our big takeaway for damage dealing and boss killing. This will be what we be used to kill our rares. And as soon as you get Dark Effigy, this is probably going to be the first thing that you put your Lesser Jeweler's Orb on and give it 3 sockets. You want to do Control Destruction, Poison, and Rapid Casting. So this way you can cast your totem fast. It can cast a whole bunch of poison, and its damage does more hit damage, which gives, you know, that pelting effect of killing the boss. As soon as you can go even further, we're going to put Overabundance on it, which allows us to have 2 of our totems at the same time. Once we have the totem set up, you want to grab Flame Wall, and Flame Wall will give us this nice flame. We pair this with Fortress. We have Flame Wall because projectiles which pass through the Flame Wall get added fire damage, and because our totem is hit based, it is a lot of damage. Now, something very important that I forgot to mention, Dark Effigy will only target mobs that are affected by a Chaos Dot. So the rotation, now that we're in Act 3, will literally be Essence Drain, Contagion, Flame Wall, Totems. This is for single target. So you Essence Drain it, you Totem and Flame Wall, and this is how you single target down your mobs. When the Essence Drain or Contagion wears out, the totems will stop firing and you have to repeat it. It's a really easy, straightforward thing, and you'll get used to it. Now, my gear has a lot of spirit, and we left off mentioning the spirit on the body art because we wanted to save it for here. If you can get extra spirit, it is really nice, and you want to use extra spirit. For me personally, after watching the video that I showcased earlier, I saw that that gentleman took Arctic Armor first, and I followed suit and took Arctic Armor first. The reason being is that you have Wither from your wand and you don't need Withering Presence, and Arctic Armor is a great defensive layer. You do so much damage in the campaign that you want to make sure that you don't die to push yourself back and take longer, and Arctic Armor helps keep you alive and it helps freezes things. So as soon as you get your first couple of spirit, or your first points of spirit, I took Arctic Armor. You can take Withering Presence instead if you'd like, but Arctic Armor was great. As soon as you hit Act 3 and you get to 60 spirit, I dropped Arctic Armor for Blasphemy, and I grabbed Blasphemy and Enfeeble makes the enemies deal less damage, and I paired it with Heightened Curse so that it just does more and more less damage. As you gear up and go through the campaign, if you find spirit in any shape, way, or form, you'll have more spirit. You can then throw on Withering Presence or Arctic Armor. You can get spirit on your helmet from a corruption, you can get it on a body armor, and you can get it on an amulet. Essentially, your amulet's gonna be that really cool spot where you get like spirit, energy shield, life, resistance, all spell skill gems, and your amulet becomes this really cool, nifty spot where you're gonna fit in a lot of things. And the last thing that we have on the list is we have Temporal Chains. Temporal Chains is absolutely last that you're going to do. You can actually even swap in Temporal Chains for Enfeeble and just have it like this early so that you have Temp Chains early instead of Enfeeble. Temp Chains we do later once we grab the Whispers of Doom curse, or the Whispers of Doom notable keystone, whatever it's called, so that we can apply 2 curses. And that's what you saw in the map slow all the mobs down to an absolute snail's pace. Temporal Chains gives the target slow, and it has a nice magnitude, and we pair that with Cursed Ground. If I take off the supports on here and show you what it does, it'll make a lot of sense. So the curse in itself, we have nice curse radius, and we cast the curse, and the curse goes on the enemies. If I add in Cursed Ground, like you saw, activates immediately, and it leaves this nice Cursed Ground. So anything that walks onto the Cursed Ground or stands on the Cursed Ground is always cursed, and you don't have to worry about the curse falling off as long as there's Cursed Ground, and Cursed Ground lasts forever. Or, well, not forever, but long enough to feel like forever. We then pair it with Ritualistic Curse, and this is going to give us more area of effect, which is really nice. You can actually, if I try to, let's see if I can do this without messing this up. We come over here, we cast this there, and then we do this, and then we try to cast it right on top of it. You can see it's slight, it's like, it's actually bigger, which is really nice, and you just cover more ground. We then have Arcane Surge, so we get mana regeneration, and then we have Decaying Hex. Decaying Hex is the big bread and butter of what we're doing. Decaying Hex gives us a Chaos Dot equal to our intelligence. So the more damage, the more dead things get, which is really nice. this pairs up with everything. So remember how I mentioned earlier, Dark Effigy needs a mob to be chaos dotted to start attacking? Well, if our Cursed Ground just immediately dots everything, the totems will start casting. So you can go like dot ground totem and then Essence Drain Contagion, and then boom, everything blows up, which is what you saw on the map. And it's just a really nice combination. The double curse setup is post-campaign, end of campaign. Don't do it right away. You can't do it right away, but don't. When you first start off and you get off the beach, you're gonna essentially path like this. I grabbed Raw Destruction right off the rip, so I came up this way to Raw Destruction. I grabbed Entropy. Second, if you need passive points like stats, like strength or dex, you can grab them here. From there, I came up to Potent Incantation for spell damage. I then came over to Lingering Horror. And as soon as I got to Act 3 and I got more curses, I grabbed Zone Control. Before I grabbed Zone Control, I worked my way over to Spiral of Insanity and then into Lasting Incantations. The reason why we take Lasting Incantations is that it is spell damage and it helps with our Bone Storm and dealing Bone Storm damage. Because we're in the campaign and we're getting into Act 3, I came down over here to these nodes here for the totem nodes. You can come to these nodes earlier, but they give you a whole lot of damage for your totems. Now you can make your choice while you're going through the campaign. You can go Spiral of Insanity into Lasting Incantations into totem nodes. You can go Lasting Incantations into Supportive Ancestors into Spiral of Insanity. It kind of depends on you. If you're going to do a focus more on Bone Storm, you should get Lasting Incantation first, as this doesn't affect Bone Storm and this does, and then this. Essentially, you just kind of want to get Supportive Ancestors as fast as possible. As soon as you want to make sure that you have it or you're near it or starting to get it when you get Dark Effigy, so Dark Effigy starts dealing damage. After that, and you're knee deep into Act 3 and you get a level 3 support gem, you can then get Chaotic Freeze. And then once you have Chaotic Freeze, you can grab this node up here for Exploit the Ailments to deal extra damage to mobs that have an ailment on them. Once you have your curses set up, like I mentioned, you grab Zone Control. Zone Control gives you Curse Magnitude and hinders all the enemies, reducing their movement speed. And then you kind of come up over here for Slow and Hinder duration, and then you get Hindered capability so that you deal more damage to everything. After you have this whole side of the tree, I made my way up this way to this jewel socket. I'm still looking for a nice jewel. And then I grabbed Spirit Bond for some more totem nodes, and then made my way over this way to Dark Entries. Eventually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this pathing here to the pathing up and down here, and I'm going to cut all this, and I'm going to take the chaos nodes here and the chaos nodes here, and you know, just kind of fix and clean up the pathing a little bit. I want to get a little bit more levels, I want to get some more gold, and then I'm going to work on all that. After we grabbed Spirit Bond and we grabbed Dark Entries, I then grabbed Whispers of Doom. You see me pathing over this way now, and I'm making my way over to Pure Chaos, and then I'm going to make my way over to Thin Ice for freeze buildup and increase damage against frozen enemies, because we freeze everything and more freeze buildup is really nice. And that's really it, and that's really the build. If you have questions or you get lost, you don't know what you're doing, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Come stop by the live stream. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. There'll also be a MOBALYTICS link down below that will explain everything in detail. But for now, friends, I'm going to get this video out to you guys. I'm going to go level up some more, and as I make changes to this build, I will post out updates and update the MOBALYTICS, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, friends, I'm going to get this video out to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.